Okay, hello everybody. I have here a Bible verse that I thought I would take a look at, do a little bit of study it a little bit. I got this piece of paper from this retreat that I was working at, that I was volunteer serving at, and I guess it's about service. We'll see. We'll take a look. This is Colossians 3:15-17, and this goes like this. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body you were called to peace, and be thankful. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly, as you teach and admonish one another with all wisdom, and as you sing psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs with gratitude in your hearts to God. And whatever you do, whether in work or deed, do it in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through him. All right, I'm going to take a moment to see if there's anything that pops out to me, anything that stands out, and then I'll let you know. Okay, Paul is basically telling us a couple things here. The first is to let the peace of Christ rule. That's the first command. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. That's what he tells us to do, since as members of one body we're called to peace. So, one, let Christ's peace rule in our hearts. And number two is to let the word of Christ dwell in us richly. The first two commands is really to just let Jesus be in our hearts. The third one is to, in everything that we do, to do it in the name of the Lord Jesus. Those are the three things that Paul tells us to do. So I'm slowly starting to interpret this a little bit. The theme that I'm seeing here is really everything that we do is for God and in God, with God in us. We were called to peace, but it's not our own peace. It's Jesus' peace. It's Christ's peace ruling in our hearts. That's the one thing that should be leading us, is the peace of God, peace of Christ. We teach and admonish one another with wisdom, but it's not our wisdom. It's Christ's wisdom, which is why Paul tells us to let Christ's word dwell in us, because only then do we have the right wisdom to teach and admonish one another and sing psalms and, give thanks to God. So with those two things, then we know, with those two things, then we know to do everything in the name of the Lord Jesus. Since Jesus is in us, everything that we do will point back to Jesus, or at least it should. The last part of 17 says to give thanks to God the Father. So Jesus enables us if we let him. Jesus enables us to do everything for him, or in his name. I guess the question that I would give myself to apply this, what does this mean for me at my job? Actually, a little bit of a harder question than I thought. I think for me, I work a very support level. I work a job that's mainly support, mainly service. In terms of peace, we get very stressed at work. There's always going to be someone who's like, hey, I want this, I want that, and doesn't understand that we can't meet their needs immediately. In times of stress, I can't calm myself down, so I'm going to look to God. When I start despairing, then I start praying. Look to God, because I need to let the peace of Christ rule in me. In terms of wisdom, in terms of the word of Christ, I'm keeping Christ's word in my mind and my heart as I teach and I guide the team that I'm leading, and the customers that I'm teaching, and the ones that I'm helping. And even at work, I'm singing with gratitude to God. Maybe I'm not singing all the time, but still with gratitude, working with gratitude. Everything that I do, whether it's writing down documentation or talking to someone or helping out or working through a problem with someone or one of my team, I'm doing it in the name of the Lord Jesus. As I serve them, I'm basically serving the Lord. It's very, very easy to talk about this, but not so much to actually do it. I'm in a peaceful state of mind right now. It's lunch hour, but once I start getting back into the thick of it, it's gonna be very different. It's gonna be very different. Definitely, I'm praying for God to help me keep this verse in mind, keep this passage in mind, to let Jesus' peace and his word in my heart all the time. Only then do I actually get through the hard part of life in a healthy way without relying only on myself. That's all. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope this helps you as well as it helps me. Thank you.